Well, it seems like we are always trying to teach our kids a lesson. I know I'm a broken record in my house, but it gets a little more difficult when they get into the teenage years, especially when it comes to ethics. Senior editor at Family Circle magazine, Gay Edelman, is here to give us some tips on teaching ethics to our kids, and it's great to have you in the studio.
Great to be here, Julie.
Let's start with explaining exactly what you mean by ethics.
What we mean by ethics is that internal moral compass that we all check in with before we take an action or speak some words, and we want our children to develop that for themselves.
Okay, and you start by saying that one of the things to talk about is the effect that our behavior has on others, and it seems like such a simple concept, but it's really important. Why?
Well, that's what it's about. That's what makes relationships work. That's what makes societies work. When we stop and check in and say, is this going to help the person or is it going to hurt them? It's really what makes everything work.
And one of the really important things that you stress is that you should have to live with the consequences of your actions, and you say you need to talk to teens about this. How far should you go with this?
Well, each situation and each child is different, so it's a judgment call in terms of the consequences for the actions. But what we really stressed in the story is how you need to let the kids sit with the feelings. Our feelings are our teachers, Julie. So if you, instead of rescuing, you let the kid sit with his regret, his embarrassment over, say, cheating or something, that's going to build in that feeling that, ooh, this doesn't feel good. I don't want to do this.
Okay, now, in the same vein, you advise parents to tell kids how they feel about behavior that is not appropriate. So give us an example of what you should say, what a parent should say to their child.
Right. Feeling statements are very, very powerful. So say your son is caught cheating. You say, it makes me so sad that you cheated, or I'm very disappointed that you cheated. Those messages get in. If instead you say, what were you thinking, or you go into that, then they're on the defensive and they don't hear you and they don't get that inner voice. You want them to hear your voice saying, I'm sad, I'm disappointed, ideally before they cheat or do, bad things.
And then how far do you take it?
In terms of?
In terms of what else you should say to them?
Well, eventually you're going to try to make a correction. They're going to have to make some amends. You're going to want to say there was cheating. You're going to want to make a consequence. Maybe you'll take away privileges. You'll want to support what the school is doing. And you're going to want to look and see, well, why did this happen? Am I putting too much pressure on my kid? Is he in the habit of taking shortcuts and so on? So it's kind of an ongoing project.
And you say to teach kids to listen to their bodies. What do you mean by that?
Right. You want to tell kids up front, if your heart starts to pound, if your stomach gets queasy, you get all hot and sweaty, stop, listen, pay attention. That's a message from your body that something's about to happen that you don't like, and you need to think it through. What are the consequences going to be? Is somebody going to get hurt? Which is what you don't want to happen.
Exactly. Today's world, so high tech, and kids are really accustomed to instant gratification these days. It's crazy, but it's not always realistic. So
Right.
How do you teach them that they have to earn their achievements, have to be earned?
Well, I think it's really important to remember it's still all happening in the home. Yeah, there's a lot of tech, but it's still about parents and kids and bonds. What you want to do is emphasize effort instead of outcomes. So not, yay, you won the game, but you worked really hard and you were a team player. You want to emphasize the process, not the product. And that lets them understand that there are increments to success. You can also talk about big league players and so on, and how it took them years and years of hard work to make the big time. There's no such thing as an overnight success. Just talk about it as these things come up in the stories.
Okay, and finally, nobody's perfect. So what if your child catches you doing something that you shouldn't necessarily be doing? How do you deal with that?
It's going to happen. You use it. Everything is an opportunity to learn and grow. So say you've had a bad day at work, some guy cuts you off in traffic, your daughter's in the car, and you maybe shout at somebody or do a little
would never do
tailgating.
that.
Oh, yes, you would. Well, maybe not you.
No, I
I've
would.
done
I
it.
would.
I've done it. And what you say is, ooh, I really shouldn't have cut that guy off or done that negative thing. I should have vented with a friend. And next time I'm going to do something like talking to my friend before I leave work so that I don't do these things. And kids learn that, you know, we all make mistakes, and it's also about making the correction. That's ethical too. You know, you make your amends.
Okay, thank you so much. Great advice. I'm going to use it at home.
pleasure.
I appreciate it. And for more advice on raising your family, pick up a copy of Family Circle magazine. Thank you so much for watching Parents TV. We'll see you soon.